Hey y'all, today we're going to talk about oral argument. So oral argument is a thing that appellate courts do, and it's really strange even to the most experienced practitioner. It's a very nerve-wracking experience. It's usually with a panel of 3 judges. For example, in the Fifth Circuit, we travel down to New Orleans, and we go down, and it'll be us, only an attorney, and for my case, it'd be a defense attorney as well. And you will go down to the court, and there won't be a jury. Obviously, there won't be any other spectators. Your agents won't be there. Your witnesses won't be there. And essentially, you are arguing to this 3 panel of judges about your case. They don't set oral argument in every case. They only set them in certain cases. And if they see some kind of nuanced issue or some unique issue, they may set it for oral argument. Personally think there's a good number. There's basically a minimum number that's set for oral argument each year. So I think anything that's even a remote issue to argue about, again, this nuance, they're going to set it for oral argument. So keep in mind, though, and again, I'm trying to set you up for oral argument here and just to learn little tips. When you're arguing, maintain eye contact with whomever is speaking. If a judge asks you a question, you need to focus in on that judge. Address the judge by name, Judge so-and-so, and speak directly to that judge. Excuse me. You will be interrupted. You will always be interrupted. This happens a lot. And just keep in mind, you can be interrupted, but you cannot interrupt them, right? So even if you're not done talking about your point and you're interrupted again, just stop. Let them talk. When they finish, answer the judge's questions. Answer yes or no first, and then explain yourself. Okay, so you need to really know your record. The key is knowing your record. You need to know it in and out. That way you can spit off things. You may want to know certain sites to the record. If there's really maybe a contentious portion of the record, or maybe it's the issue that you really think they're honing in on, know the sites. So you can say, Your Honor, in the record on page 24, this is what happened. And so that way they can directly flip to it if they need to, and they'll be able to spit it out. Same way with cases. If you have some really good cases that support your position, have those case sites available and have them ready. Now, you're usually going to have any case that you cite in your brief. Obviously, you're going to have those sites. Usually, you're not going to have new case sites. Because that's just not really how it works. You don't want to rely on a case you didn't put in your brief. If you're asked about a case and you're not familiar with it, say you're not familiar with it. Just be honest. Anything you don't know, and this is a theme throughout this class, but anything you don't know, just say, Your Honor, I'm not familiar with that case. We can always supplement the record if the court, or not the record, excuse me. We can always have supplemental briefing if the court please, once I've read that case. I can get back to you, or something like that. But don't just say, yeah, I know that case. Even if it sounds familiar, tell them it sounds familiar, but I'm really not familiar with it. So you need to have a concluding summary always. And really, for the appellant, you need to have a pretty good one, because you're going to get asked, you're going to be on this course like this, and then you're going to get asked a question, you're going to be over here, and then you're going to get asked another question, you're going to be over here. And so you need to be able to come back on that course and finish up when they're finished asking questions with your strongest points. So always remember that. Have like a little paragraph that you're ready, that you can spit out, and you know it like the back of your hand. Okay. If this is important, if you're an appellee and the court does not have any other questions for you, like you start giving, let's say appellee, you start arguing, you got 15 minutes. You start talking for 5 minutes, then you get a couple questions, okay? If it's getting close to your time, let's say it's 10 minutes or up or whatever, or even 7 minutes, and you say, Your Honors, if you don't have any other questions, I will give my time back, okay? Don't ramble, because I've seen attorneys who the courts didn't have any questions, and they brought up more and more stuff, and the courts asked further questions and then kind of got confused or talked about things that didn't help their case. So keep in mind, if you're the appellee, right, the appellee, who you're essentially defending what the trial court did, there's no need to ramble. If they're finished with questions, get out. Okay? Make sure you clarify any questions that the appellant has if you're the appellee. Make sure you clarify any facts. If there's some facts that need to be cleared up that were not maybe stated correctly, clear it up. Again, don't be accusatory. But just say, Your Honor, I do want to point out the record actually says this. Wanted to clear up the record for the court. Mock it up with others. I can't tell you the importance of that. You get a group of other colleagues and mock it up. We do that in every case, and it's very helpful because everybody thinks differently, and everybody thinks some issue may be the important issue. There may be 5 issues in an oral argument, and some people may think it's issue A, some people may think it's issue B, but people have different ways of questioning you. And plus, it just gives you an opportunity to go ahead and memorize certain things and to be able to just talk about certain things. It kind of puts a timeline on you there. If the standard is on your side, the standard review, hammer that. If it's de novo review, hammer it. Judge, y'all can make new law here. Judge, this is your opportunity, etc. I don't really. The book talks about a theme. I'm not big on a theme really with oral argument. I think judges will see through that. It's not like you could if you got a good theme. If you got a good theme throughout your brief, then I think you're okay. But just remember, you're not arguing to a jury. You're arguing to judges. Okay. Outlining is key. Have an outline for your oral argument, especially if you're the appellant. Have an outline, then keep narrowing that outline as you go. Keep narrowing. That way you know everything and go over it. Go watch one before if that's allowed. If you can watch one before yours or the day before, try to do that. There's nothing better than just to get and see how it works. It'll make you a lot more comfortable and less nervous. And just listen to one. If you can't do anything else, the Fifth Circuit has them on their website. Just go listen to one. If you get a softball question, you need to notice that. Okay, don't sit there and think, why is he or she asking me this? So they will throw you a softball if that judge really believes in your case already, and he or she is trying to convince the other 2 panelists of your position. They may toss you a softball, but don't be too arrogant because you don't want to get the other 2 judges mad at you and that judge. So, again, it's a fine line there, but just recognize those softballs because that will happen. When you get finished answering a question, especially if you're the appellant, then go back to your script. Be ready. Know where you lost it. Know where you got sidetracked and get back on your script. Okay, if you only got like 2 minutes left, pop that concluding paragraph, right? Again, if you don't know something, just say you don't know. We talked about that. Never point at the court. I have seen this happen, and it was not good. An attorney was doing like this to the court, and the court blasted him and said, "Look, do not point at the court. Do not point." And he was raising his voice and getting real theatrical. They did not like that. Nobody wants you to be theatrical. You can have pauses and do good, do good things as far as arguing, that you're being taught, but have certain pauses and raise your voice and lower your voice, but don't raise it too high. But just keep that in mind. The best thing to do really is have your hands right here by your side. Don't put them in your pockets. Don't put them down by your side. Have them right here, and you can argue like this, but don't point. But you can do these kind of things, but don't point. But that's about it. And just last thing, keep in mind, stand behind the podium. This is not a jury. Again, stand behind the podium. So those are just some things you can write down in the future, and you'll be doing this in law school as well, so you can carry these with you. But if anybody has any questions, let me know. Thank you.